right, gentlemen, this is Vince Miller. Thank you for joining me for these devotionals. Now, today I'm going to read Daniel chapter 9, verses 4 down through about 15 or so. And I do need to warn you, it's a long text, but I'm not going to apologize for reading the text today. But I do want you to hang on in this one, because what we're going to read is this very powerful prayer that Daniel prayed. And I'm going to break it down into two sections for you. The first section is his confession. The second section, which we will read maybe tomorrow, is going to be his request. And I'm going to read the first section, emphasizing some words for you today, and then I'll eventually make a point. So here we are, Daniel chapter 9. I'm going to start in verse 4. It reads, I prayed to the Lord my God and made confession, saying, O Lord, the great and awesome God, who keeps covenant and steadfast love with those who love him and keep his commandments, we, very personal, have sinned and have done wrong and acted wickedly, rebelled and turned aside from your commandments and rules. So he's owning up. We have not listened to your servants, the prophets, who spoke in your name, to our kings, our princesses, and our fathers, to all the people of the land. To you belongs righteousness. So there's a little bit of a contrast there. But to us, open shame. As to this day, to the men of Judah, to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to all of Israel, to all those who are near and to are far away, and all the lands that you have driven, that's everybody, because of the treachery they have committed against you. To us, O Lord, belongs open shame, to our kings and our princesses and our fathers, because we have sinned against you. In other words, everybody's culpable. To the Lord our God belong mercy and forgiveness, for we have rebelled against him and have not obeyed the voice of the Lord our God by walking in his laws, which he set before us by his servant the prophets. All Israel transgressed your law and turned aside, refusing to obey your voice, and the curse and oath that are written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, have been poured out upon us because we have sinned against him. He has confirmed his words, which he spoke against us, against our rulers who ruled us by bringing upon us a great calamity. For under the whole heaven, there has not been done anything like what has been done against Jerusalem. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this calamity has come upon us, yet we have not entreated the favor of our Lord our God, turning from our iniquities and gaining insight by your truth, or making a change, right? Therefore, the Lord has kept ready the calamity and has brought it upon us. For the Lord our God is righteous in all the works that he has done, and we have not obeyed his voice. And now, O Lord our God, who brought your people out of the land of Egypt. So now he's reaching back to something God has done with a mighty hand, and have made a name for yourself at this day. We have sinned. We have done wickedly. What an incredible prayer. This is a little bit of an unconnected point I want to make here, but I love that Daniel wrote this down, which, by the way, is an excellent practice. For those of you who actually struggle with prayer, I would encourage you to write out your prayers. Take your little Daniel journal that I got in my hand here and just write out a short prayer with each devotional we do. It's very, very simple, practical practice. And I want you to know, I've actually done this for years. Just write out my prayers. And I like writing them out because they help me to focus and not get distracted. Actually forces me to slow down by penning them. And it gives me a record of what to look back on. And that's what Daniel did here. He wrote out his prayer, and thus we get the benefit of reading his record thousands of years later. So back to the content of the text, okay? So I emphasized several words here. They were personal pronouns, we and us. And for me, they indicate Daniel's deep, deep ownership of both individual and national sin. Now, here's just an opinion. It may feel a little bit unconnected, but I think I'm right about this. I believe we have trained men in our time and culture to reject responsibility. I mean, we watch daily in the news and in our workplace another episode of men who fail to take any responsibility for their leadership or actions. And I don't know why we try to avoid it or reject it or deny it, but I know some men who will scheme elaborate ways to reject responsibility. They do. But Daniel doesn't do that here. He doesn't blame others. He doesn't ignore the issue. He sees a clear connection between the present captivity, God's punishment of Israel, and his sin. His sin. I mean, he could have used pronouns in this text like they and them, because many of these issues started long before he was ever born. But he doesn't. Not one time he doesn't do that. He repeatedly uses pronouns, we and us, that make him culpable for many of the present problems, or all of them, for that matter. I think men who see this connection and take responsibility are incredible men. They own issues when they see them in the world, or in the country, or in their church, or in their family, or in their personal life. They refuse to reject responsibility. And because they do, they mature faster, they lead better, they're more humble, and they correct course more quickly. And instead of spending time denying the issues and leaving them on the table for someone else to address, they make it right by going first. And guess what, fellas? That's what God's man does. So today, is there an issue, a problem, or a sin that you've put off addressing for far too long? One that you've left on the table? Well, if so, take responsibility for it and own it. And let's move past living in the perpetual consequences of unaddressed sin. Guys, I love you. I pray this blesses you. I pray you'll share it with someone you know. And with that, I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.